Hey guys, welcome back to the Octagon Channel. As always, we'll be bringing you the biggest news from the fight world. Tune in and enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with all the latest. And here we are.
Oh, let's go! What's up, everybody? It's Fight Week again, live this Saturday night from the Apex here in Las Vegas. The main event, Emmett versus Murphy. Emmett holds the record for the most knockdowns in featherweight division, coming off a knockout of Bryce Mitchell. Lerone Murphy, 15-0, undefeated. This is a badass fun card. The prelims start at 6 o'clock on the East Coast. Main card starts at 9 o'clock on the East Coast. The entire card is on ESPN or ESPN+. A couple of fights you might not know about. Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin. Coming off the Contender Series, Torres Finney stamped his ticket to the UFC with a first-round knockout in October. Torres is looking to prove his doubters wrong when he faces Ultimate Fighter runner-up Robert Valentin. Torres has 8 of his 10 wins coming by finish, and Robert has 9 of his 10 wins coming by finish. This is going to be a very fun fight. Another fight you might not know about. Pat Sabatini versus Joe Anderson Brito. Sabatini is an incredible grapple specialist, coming off a first-round choke finish. Almost 70% of his wins are by some sort of submission. One of the few guys that can pull off a heel hook, and he's especially good at taking the back and sinking in that choke. Brito is an absolute tank. He's very good on the mat, but isn't enough to hold off Sabatini. One of the strongest guys in the division. He's got a ton of power, and he tries to knock you out every time he throws. With about an equal knockout to submission ratio and an 88% finish rate, he is dangerous everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, live this Saturday night from the Apex in Las Vegas on ESPN, the network. If you don't know, now you know.
Yes! Yeah!
Get him! As we hit 10 seconds to go to round 2.
The only thing I'd like to see from Dante in round 3 is a higher outlook, a sense of urgency.
What is this?
Finish. It's unique, creative striking. The hip bone
Happy holidays.
to the head bone.
I've never seen them do.
Dana White is going all in with META. TKO Group Holding announced Wednesday that the UFC has signed a multi-year partnership with META, with Mark Zuckerberg's company becoming the UFC's official fan technology partner. White and Zuckerberg have formed a close relationship over the years, with Zuckerberg regularly attending UFC events and White being brought on to join META's board of directors this past January.
What's up, everybody? UFC and META just signed a massive long-term partnership. META will now become UFC's first ever official fan technology partner. This is great news for UFC fans. Why? Because this means that META will use all of their badass apps and technology like Instagram, Facebook, Threads, WhatsApp, and Meta AI to create amazing content and experiences for UFC fans. We've already started to work with META to create a new fighter ranking system that will debut later this year, thank God. We'll also be using META's AI-powered glasses to capture UFC content, and we're going to do things with META that will blow UFC fans away. The next few years will be an absolute game changer for fans of this sport. Stay tuned, everybody.
Let's do that right now.
Let's do.
The rematch we've all been waiting for? Not exactly. UFC 316 has its main event, and it features the reigning bantamweight champion defending against O'Malley, the man he beat for the belt back at UFC 306 this past September. That contest saw Dvalishvili dominate much of the action with his relentless wrestling, but O'Malley maintained afterwards that he felt he did better than the scorecards suggested, and has campaigned for a rematch since. Dvalishvili went on to successfully defend his title against undefeated challenger Umar Nurmagomedov, while O'Malley stayed on the sidelines recovering from hip surgery. And now O'Malley gets another crack at Dvalishvili on June 7th in Newark, New Jersey, without having to book another fight in between. To say fans aren't all in on O'Malley being granted an immediate rematch is an understatement, and you can check out some of the more venomous reactions to the UFC 316 headliner announcement below.
Can someone get me out of here?
Ian Machado Garry's confidence is as high as ever after booking a matchup with one of the welterweight division's hottest fighters. On Tuesday, the UFC announced Garry is set to fight Carlos Prates in a welterweight bout that serves as the new headliner for UFC Kansas City on April 26th. The bout replaces a light heavyweight contest between top contenders Jamahal Hill and Khalil Roundtree Jr., which has been pulled from the card for undisclosed reasons. Garry is currently number 6 in the MMA fighting global rankings. Prates is unranked, but has generated enormous buzz coming off of an incredible UFC debut campaign in 2024 that saw him go 4-0 with 4 knockouts, all of which won Performance of the Night bonuses.
Right, it's official. You've got a new main event, Kansas City, Missouri, me versus Carlos Prates, April 26th. I'm excited. Why? The UFC go, we need someone. Who do we need? Who do we call? You call me. Why? Because I'm a real fighter who wants to fight the best in the world. I'm going to show everybody how good I am. Carlos Prates is awesome, but this is my world. I love to fight. There's nothing more I love in this world than fighting. Missouri, Kansas City, let's go. Ireland, get your tickets, get your flights. Brazil, get your tickets, get your flights. And Brazil, desculpa, vocês têm 2 brasileiros nessa luta. Vamos lá. Prates, vi você abril 26.
Yeah, that's right.
Henry Cejudo thinks Khabib Nurmagomedov could be the man standing in the way of an Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria super fight. Earlier this year, Topuria announced plans to vacate the featherweight title, stating his intention to move up to 155 pounds and pursue a second belt. Fans immediately speculated whether Topuria would get an immediate title shot, with Topuria adding to the speculation by saying he has been promised one. However, Makhachev seems cool on the idea, and Cejudo believes he knows why.
They're probably going to do Ilia Topuria versus versus Islam Makhachev. But I remember talking to Khabib, and Khabib said this. He's like, it's not fair for Ilia to skip the line and go after the title shot with Islam, because that's all Islam's been doing. He gave Volkanovski a couple of times, and he has gone up. So I don't even think it's going to be Islam's choice. I think Khabib's going to step in and be like, he needs to fight the number 1 contender. And he said, if Ilia does beat the number 1 contender, then sure, we'll do that. So I personally think that Islam will fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. There's a quote on him at the PI that says that. But I think the person who's going to more likely play bad cop is going to be Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's going to say no. So for that reason, I am guessing it's going to be Justin Gaethje versus Islam Makhachev, International Fight Week.
Yeah.
Bullshit!
Jason Jackson is one step closer to becoming champion again. On Thursday night at Universal Studios Florida in Orlando, PFL kicked off its 2025 tournament campaign with PFL 1, featuring the opening round of the welterweight and featherweight tournaments. And in the main event, Jackson ran over Andrei Koreshkov, scoring a second-round technical submission to earn his spot in the welterweight semifinals.
Yes!
Steak. 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 Eat steak. No, steak. No.
Jimmy Chikova is making tables fly before the fists fly with David Adelaide this Saturday. The two are set to face off for a British heavyweight title in the co-main event of the upcoming Joe Joyce versus Filip Hrgovic card, and Chikova Jimmy had a heated exchange with Adelaide at Thursday's press conference in Manchester, England. As TKV and Adelaide went back and forth on the microphone, TKV suddenly erupted and flipped a table, leading security making sure both fighters remained separated. TKV's outburst didn't lead to any physicality between the fighters, but they continued to jaw at each other as they exited the stage.
Okay. All right. There is still
The two did not take part in face-offs following the conclusion of the press conference. Adalai seeks to add to his collection of belts after previously winning several minor titles. TKV also has more gold in his sights after defeating Michael Webster for an IBO belt this past February.